In the closing moments of the Battle of Coruscant, Grievous recognized that his flagship, the Invisible Hand, was doomed, and that he failed the primary mission to recover Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. But more than that, Grievous accepted that he was facing a larger threat than he could handle within the bridge of the flagship, in Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. Seeing no other options, Grievous chose the path of retreat, hoping to live to fight another day. As seen in Revenge of the Sith, having exited the bridge, Grievous clambered over the hull of the Invisible Hand, making his way to an escape pod to jettison himself away from the rapidly disintegrating flagship. We know from the film that Grievous eventually makes his way to the Outer Rim planet of Utapau, but it must be asked, how did Grievous ultimately escape the Battle of Coruscant once he entered his escape pod? A seemingly difficult act considering that the battle wasn't over and there were still hundreds of Republic starships that could have captured the general. In this video expose, I will explain how Grievous escaped the Battle of Coruscant and successfully reached Utapau. To understand how Grievous was able to make his escape, it's important to start with the moment the general lands on the hull of the flagship and makes his way to his customized escape pod. The timing of the scene plays out differently on screen than it does in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, but the important action takes place in both. Occurring on the hull of the ship prior to reaching his escape pod within the novelization, but occurring once within his escape pod in the film, Grievous punched in a command code that caused every escape pod upon the flagship to jettison itself in every direction. Grievous did this to make it extremely difficult to know exactly which escape pod he was in. The novelization makes it clear just how important this act was. It's stated that the Republic began pursuing many of the empty escape pods with their starfighters and armed retrieval ships, allowing Grievous to escape unseen. Once within his escape pod, Grievous fled to a waiting Trade Federation battleship, or Lucrehulk-class battleship. The battleship was to act as an escape vessel from the Battle of Coruscant, presumably waiting to take Grievous, Dooku, and the captured Supreme Chancellor away from the battle to a more secure location, at least as Grievous himself understood the plan. Having reached the battleship, Grievous didn't immediately flee the battle. Instead, he watched as the Invisible Hand entered into Coruscant's atmosphere, hoping to see the destructive fate of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Palpatine firsthand. However, Grievous didn't get his wish, and instead learned that the flagship was able to land relatively safely upon the surface. Only then, realizing the battle's objectives failed, did Grievous and his fleet retreat from Coruscant. Following his retreat, we again see a bit of discrepancy between the film and the novelization. The Revenge of the Sith novelization states that Grievous boarded a Geonosian dreadnought and then headed for Utapau, while the film clearly shows the general boarded a Sheathipede-class transport shuttle for his journey to the Outer Rim planet. Either way, we know that following his retreat from the Battle of Coruscant, Grievous was able to successfully reach Utapau, where he contacted Darth Sidious to obtain obstructions for what he believed was the next stage of their plan. So there we have it, how Grievous escaped the Battle of Coruscant and successfully made it to Utapau. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me... For Stage 2.